Hi, I'm Hector Garcia. I'm a CPA, and I've been filing 1099 forms for over 20 years. In this video, I'm going to walk you through what is a Form 1099 NEC, who is supposed to file it. I'm also going to walk you through step by step on how to file your own 1099 forms this year in maybe 5 minutes or less. I'm also going to give you the number one tip I give my clients regarding 1099s and some of the frequently asked questions that my clients ask during tax season. Let me start by thanking Zenwork Tax 1099 for sponsoring this video. Make sure you use the link in the description and the coupon code if you use their service to file your forms this year. Let's start by answering the question, what is the Form 1099 NEC? NEC stands for Non-Employee Compensation. In other words, your independent contractors. This could be individuals or vendors that act as contractors and perform services for your business that are not employees. With employees, you pay them through a paycheck, you withhold taxes. With independent contractors, you just pay them. Now, who needs to file a 1099 NEC? Any business that pays an independent contractor more than the threshold amount, we'll go back and talk about the amount in a second, is required to send the IRS the total amount of payment that was paid to the independent contractor via this form, the 1099 NEC. And in some cases, some states require that as well. Make sure you check the link for Zenwork's Tax 1099 state page, where you can click on each of the states and actually see what the requirements are in your particular state or in the particular state of the independent contractor you are paying. Now, very important, this is for payments of services and not for purchasing goods. It usually applies to vendors or contractors that are individuals, partnerships, or single-member LLCs. It generally does not apply to corporations when you're paying corporations. There's some rare exceptions like attorneys. Attorneys always get a 1099 NEC regardless. Now let's talk about threshold amounts. All the way up to December 31st, 2025, the threshold amount or the minimum amount of payment that would make you, your business, required to file, it's $600 or more. In other words, if you pay that independent contractor a total of $600 or more, it could be a combination of payments, could be a single payment. As long as the total is $600 or more, you will be required to file a 1099 form for that independent contractor that year. Now keep in mind, for 2026 and beyond, this is for 2027 tax season, the threshold amount has gone up due to a tax law change to $2,000. But if you are in early 2026 and you need to file your 2025 tax returns, $600 is the number you need to look at. Now, what information do you need to have prior to filing the form? You need to collect the following information from your independent contractor. First, their legal name, whether it's an individual or a business. Second, their tax identification number. So if it's an individual, it would be their social security number. If it's a business, it would be their EIN, employer identification number, and their legal address. With those three components and your business information, you should have everything you need to file your 1099 NEC form this year. Now, the way you collect that data is via a W-9 form. The W-9 form is a form the IRS gives you as a vehicle to collect that information, but you do not need to file the W-9 form. Now, the number one tip I give to my clients before they pay an independent contractor is make sure they give you that W-9 form with all that information filled out before you make the first payment. In other words, withhold the payment until you receive that form in exchange. I have far too many clients that are in January, they're running around trying to figure out how to get that information, and the vendors or the contractors are lost, being evasive, and don't want to give that information out. Let me walk you step by step how to file your own 1099 NEC form using Zenwork Tax 1099. To start filing your own form, go to tax1099.com, click on sign up to create your own account, and after creating your account, you will be logged into the Tax 1099 homepage. Next step, we're going to click on Forms, Create New Form, and get the process started. Keep in mind that 1099 NEC is just one of the hundreds of forms that are available to file to the federal government. Tax 1099 has a lot of those forms available for you. Let's go ahead and click on 1099 NEC and get started with our independent contractors. First thing you're going to do is you're going to click your business name in this drop-down menu where it says Select Payer. Select your business name there. If your business name is not there yet, simply click on Add Payer, and you'll be able to add your business information in there just once, and that will be pre-filled across all forms. Once that's done, you're going to scroll down to the recipient section. This is each of your independent contractors. We're going to click on the drop-down menu and select which of your independent contractors you would like to prepare a 1099 for. Keep in mind that if you don't see any of them in your drop-down menu, simply click on Add, and you can create that independent contractor one by one to have it in your database. That will be saved for years to come as well as you file them every year. We'll go ahead and select that independent contractor. You will see that their name, address, and tax ID will all be pre-filled for you. I'm going to scroll up to box 1, non-employee compensation, and this is where we're going to put the total dollar amount that we paid them through the year. Since this is Form 2025, we're actually putting the total dollar amounts paid from January 1st, 2025 to December 31st, 2025. So let's say the total amount that we paid John Smith, our independent contractor, is $600. We only put the information in that box 1, and we don't have to put anything else. If you have any state requirements, Tax 1099 actually knows and pre-fills all the state information for you. Once you're done, you can click on Save and Continue, or click on Save and Add New 1099 NEC if you want to add some additional contractors to your filing. Let's go ahead and add one more contractor that I have in my list. And let's put the total dollar amount. Let's say that this independent contractor, we paid them $3,000. Once again, all the state information will be pre-filled for you. And then we'll go ahead and click on Save and Continue. Once that's done, both of my independent contractor 1099s are now queued up in the unsubmitted form section. And from here, I can select all of them and I can click on Calculate Tax 1099 Fee to see exactly how much it would cost me to file these electronically through Zenwork Tax 1099. Once you preview the fee, you can approve and go through that process. Keep in mind that these additional services are optional. USPS Mail allows Zenwork to physically print and mail that 1099 form to the contractor so you don't have to do it yourself. The e-delivery is so the contractor gets an email notification where they can approve receiving that 1099 via PDF in their email. TIN matching allows you as a business to make sure that the Social Security number or tax ID they gave you actually matches the IRS records and avoid getting any delays or penalties for putting the wrong information. And finally, if your particular state has a requirement, you can check that and have Tax 1099 do that for you as well. You can also individually preview any of the 1099s if you want to by clicking on Actions, View PDF, and you can see exactly what the form is going to look like that is going to be filed to the government and that independent contractor will get a copy of. And once you're done previewing all of these prior to filing, you can click on Submit for this payer. You can also do some AI diagnostics to make sure that you have not missing any very important information. We'll click on Submit for this payer, preview the amount, make sure to add a coupon code, click on Pay Now, and file your forms. It is that easy. Now, some of the most frequently asked questions that my clients ask me regarding 1099s during tax season. First is, by when? What is the deadline to file them? So with 1099 NECs, the deadline is January 31st of the following year. So for example, for 2025, the deadline would be January 31st of 2026. If that day ends on a weekend, it would be the following Monday. So specifically, January 31st, 2025 lands on a Saturday. So the actual deadline for 2026 is moved to February 2nd. that is the very last day that you need to file the forms to the IRS, and 1 day late and above will result in a penalty. Now, does it matter how you pay the contractor? It actually does. So for typical payments that you make to the contractor, whether it's a check, ACH, and some of the modern electronic bank transfers like Zelle, Venmo, Apple Cash, PayPal, maybe when you pay them with actual real cash, all of those need to be included in your total amount for your 1099 form. If you actually pay the contractor via a credit card, you do not include those amounts in the 1099 because the merchant processor is most likely to report them with a different form. Now, what happens if you do not file the forms? So there are two potential consequences. One, you can get a penalty for non-filing. So that's a big problem. Or two, if you get audited, the IRS could disallow those expenses. In other words, don't let you take the expenses and have to charge it back as income. So you as the business owner will end up paying taxes in behalf of that contractor. What if your contractor doesn't have a social security number or you can't find it? Do you still need to file? The fact that you don't have that number or that your contractor doesn't have one doesn't preclude you from the responsibility of having to report those payments. Now, if your contractor is illegal in the United States, you weren't supposed to hire them in the first place, so obviously that would never be an excuse. But assuming that's not the problem, you are paying a legitimate US person for services, and that person is just lost, or you didn't get the number, or you got the wrong number, then the burden is going to be on you, on the business owner, for not collecting that information. So you will still be eligible to have to file that form. And what the IRS might do is require for you to withhold payments to your contractors in the future, called backup withholding, because you have not fulfilled the responsibility of filing 1099s for all your contractors. What if the contractor is outside the United States? Now, if your contractor resides outside the United States and performs the work outside of the United States, you actually have no legal requirement to have to file a 1099 NEC form. Just keep tight records that that contractor is not in the United States, and you should be okay. What consequences does the contractor have when you file the form? Well, that contractor is supposed to include all their income, whether the form is filed or not. But by filing this form, the IRS now has a way to back up the income reported by that independent contractor. And if that independent contractor reports less income than the total amount of 1099 NEC files, that independent contractor could get audited or would have to explain to the IRS why there is such discrepancy. Now, I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to use the link and the coupon code if you use Zenwork to file your forms, and I'll see you in the next one.